Across the platform, at home and in the office, we welcome you inside the Piedmont Ballroom. The Pitt Panthers have joined us. Head coach Jeff Capel will offer an opening comment or two, and then we'll open it up for Q&A for not only coach but also the student athletes. Coach, the podium is yours.
Well, first and foremost, good evening to everyone. Hope everyone's having a great day. It's an honor for me to be here once again, representing the University of Pittsburgh at the ACC Media Day. Excited about our group and what we are becoming each day. Excited about the two young men that I have here with me. I feel honored to get a chance to work with them every day, to work for them, with them, and to try to help them in their development as young men and as basketball players. We're excited about our season. We're excited about who we have and what we think we can become, and we look forward to trying to be our best every day of this journey. We don't take it for granted. Questions?
Coach, thank you. Your first question, first row, right side.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Coach, we know the history of Pitt was inside of the Big East. I see Providence, I see Villanova, West Virginia on the non-conference schedule. Just what it means to you to have that Northeast connection, and as the ACC lowers from 20 to 18 games inside of the conference, the importance of scheduling difficult games outside.
Yeah, well, certainly where the University of Pittsburgh men's basketball program, they made their name was in the Big East. When the Big East was established in the 80s, Pitt was one of the teams that joined the team somewhere around the mid-80s and had a lot of success, especially starting in 2002 and until they entered the ACC in the 2013-14 seasons. This program was multiple times #1 overall seeds in the NCAA tournament, multiple Big East championships, top 10 finishes. So it was one of the best programs. Since Pitt entered the ACC, obviously the program has tried to find its footing. And so when we looked at scheduling, and it's something we've tried to do since I've been here, trying to get some of the Big East flavor back. And so the Providence game is an exhibition game. Now that you can do it and open it up, that's something that we're really excited about. We'll play them at home this year. We'll go there next season. Villanova starting a home and home with them. Obviously, West Virginia, you know, the longtime rivalry. When Pitt left to go to the ACC, that rivalry ended. They didn't play. And then shortly before I took the job, they started playing again. Certainly going from 20 to 18 gives you more opportunity to do some different things in your schedule. We took advantage of that with scheduling Penn State and doing that at a neutral site. Hopefully that's something in the future that we can continue to do, maybe with them, but perhaps maybe looking at some more Big East teams. And that's something that we're already in discussions for the following season. So we're excited to challenge ourselves in the non-conference. We feel like we have a great mix. We have 2 home games. In the SEC Challenge, we'll have Texas A&M at home, and we'll also have Ohio State at home. We'll have neutral games against Penn State and Central Florida. So a Big 10 and a Big 12 team, and then we'll be on the road at West Virginia and at Villanova. So we're excited about who we have in the non-conference.
Coach, right side, fifth row, towards the air wall, so hard right there.
Hi, Coach. QCB, Fox Sports Radio Charlotte. You're only a year removed from having a 20-win season, and I know there's a lot of sports cliches when coaches give speeches about their teams and realistic goals, but according to you, what's the realistic goal you tell your team behind the scenes what Pitt's looking like this season?
Yeah, our goal is, and maybe this is cliche, but it's to get better every day and to really enjoy and embrace the journey. You know, we don't limit ourselves with expectations. We look at opportunities to try to improve each day and to try to max out who we can be individually and collectively as a group. We understand that it's a journey. It's a long season. There are going to be great moments. There are going to be adversities. There are going to be tough times. What we have to do is to have the perseverance and the competitive stamina and spirit that when those adverse times come, that we're strong enough and the culture is tight enough where we can fight our way through it. That's where we got in trouble last year. You know, last year was like the tale of two seasons. We were a really good team in November and December. We were a top 25 team, started out 3-0 in the conference. We had an injury to a guy that was a really big injury, and we were never able to recover from it. And that's on us, and it's on me as the head coach. But I really like the group that we've put together. I think we have a group of guys that are super competitive, that have a chip on their shoulder and feel like individually we have something to prove, which means collectively we have something to prove. Now it's on us to go out there and do it every day.
Coach, this time left side, fifth row still, though, towards the back.
Cam Lemons, 24/7 Sports. Coach, a few hours ago, Commissioner Phillips got up here and talked about historically how good the ACC has been and how everyone's trying to get back to where the ACC was, both from a winning perspective and perception perspective. What's Pitt's role in helping the ACC get back there, and how do you attack that, just as a program and as a conference?
Yeah, well, as a member of this conference, we all have a responsibility for that. And, you know, we took a step back last year. You know, the previous 2 years, you could easily say that, okay, this narrative is not true. And it wasn't true. But coming in right now, if you want to say that about our league, because of what we did specifically in the non-conference last year as a league, it gave a lot of credence to that narrative that's out there. Now it's on us collectively as a group of teams, as member institutions of this conference, to fight our way out of that and to prove once again that we are the premier basketball conference. You can look at it historically, and there's no doubt historically. But if you look at it in current terms, then you could have some questions about that. You know, we had one team make the Final Four last year. That's great. But in this league, you know, we didn't have teams advance in the NCAA tournament. That's not the norm for this league. Last year, I'm hoping was a little bit abnormal. But we have to get off the mat. There has to be alignment across the board in every area, in investment to each program, to athletic departments, and that's from university, athletic department, everywhere. College athletics is very different now, and we can't be stuck in the past as a league of, well, we're the ACC. We can't have arrogance and just think that it's supposed to happen because we're the ACC. Other leagues, other programs are making significant investments into their departments to have success, and we collectively as a league have to do that as well.
Coach, thank you. You and Cameron can switch spots. We'll spend a few minutes with Mr. Corhen. If you would, please identify yourselves and the agency you were with, and we'll spend 4 to 5 minutes with each of our student athletes. First question? Cameron, we'll ask it from the podium. You may not be aware of the stat, but Pitt lost 53% of its scoring production from last year. So when you think about where you are in practice now and where the season will begin, how will you know that your team is on schedule to be scoring the points, to be working the system the way it should be?
I think Coach did a great job of putting together a group that can collectively bring production. We won't have to rely so much on just a few dudes, so I don't think that 53% will mean as much as people would think.
Thank you. Right side, about the fifth row towards the wall.
Richton Cunningham, Fox Sports Radio, Charlotte. Cameron, obviously in today's game, stretching the floor is a big thing everybody wants to address. Have you practiced any three-point shots in the offseason, adding that to your game, or is your goal still to be the most dominant big man down low that you can be?
Obviously, being down low is a big part of my game, and I can't forget that. But I have put in countless hours on my three-point shot, working before and after practice, working hard on that for sure.
Questions for Cam in the room? Cam, speaking of that height, if by my count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players at 6'10" or taller, what's it like to have such a big team to be around?
Just so disruptive on the defensive end, so much versatility. We don't really have any dudes that are just slow and can't move. Everybody can guard 1 through 5, so it's just a tough defensive team.
Cam, your next question, right side, will come here to the first row.
Cam, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Looking at the transfers that have come in and then looking at from Sydney at Henry, just what you can say about what this does for the team, transfers, just newcomers in general in the front court, and how that might bring Pitt back to being as tenacious as it has been in the past on the boards and around the glass.
Like I said, Coach did a great job with the makeup of this team. Everybody's tough. I feel like just physically, like I said, the makeup of this team is different. A lot of older dudes, stronger dudes, physically more dominant. So I feel like rebounding and on the boards will be much better.
Cameron, thank you. You and Brandin can switch spots, and we'll spend a few minutes with Mr. Cummings. Questions for Brandin from the room, please. Brandin, we'll ask the first one from the podium. When you think about the 31 games that you played in last year and you think about the makeup of this team this year, what's your role? Are you going to be same, different? How are you going to play it?
I mean, obviously, going from your freshman year into your sophomore year, it's always a big step up in the role. But I think most importantly, I worked on my game this summer, and the role that I have is, be a leader, kind of show guys the ropes. We have a lot of new guys, a lot of newcomers, a lot of transfers, and, go out there and be the best version of myself every game.
We're going to bring it to the front row to the left side.
Nathan Lowry with the Hill Brothers. Brandin, you had a pretty solid season last year, and coming back, what are you doing as an upcoming leader in this team to help this team move forward with Capel, who's had some pretty good success since he's come to Pitt?
I think most importantly, I'm working on my game, and like I said, I'm showing guys the ropes. Pittsburgh is tough. That's a culture that we have as a team and as a city. And I kind of want to, spread some of that toughness on everybody on the team. And I think this year, we have the guys and we have the tools to, be the toughest team in the country. And I think, we're going to execute our plan the way we say we are.
Brandin, we'll stay on the left side about the fifth row back.
Cam Lemons, 24/7 Sports. Kind of related to that, you chose to come back. How weird is it as a player when you see guys hitting the portal and you have so much just transfer, influx, outflux? How weird is that as a player, and what do you do and coach do to kind of help make sure that the 1 year is as good as it can be?
I mean, it's a different era in college basketball. It's not just us; it's everybody. The majority of the teams, that are adding a lot of guys, are losing a lot of guys. That's just something that college basketball as a whole has to accept. Everybody's adapting to it as we are, but we go on the floor. It is what it is. You got 5 guys out there, and you got to be a team. You got to be together, and I think we're more together than everybody else, and I think we're ready.
Brandin, thank you. Your last question, front row to the right.
Brandin, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. You spoke about this is the world we live in now with DeMarco coming in from Oregon State and Barry from South Alabama. What do they do immediately for this team, in your opinion?
For one, they bring toughness. Where they come from. They got to be tough. That's just kind of how you got to live life. And they add a lot to the team. DeMarco, amazing point guard, one of the best point guards I've been around, one of the best defenders I've played with. Barry, he shoot the leather off the ball. Space the floor really well. Defends really well. He's very athletic. So they bring a lot to our team, and they're going to be really successful this year.
Pitt, thank you for the time. Good luck this season. Folks, they are going to be in the breakout room right next door for the next 30 minutes. And due up at the top of the hour will be North Carolina. Thank you.